everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Debbie Lincoln. I'm the chairman of the Lunenburg Council on Aging, and I'm so excited about this event to honor this very, very special person. Well, this is the second member that we are inducting into our Century Club, and how that came about was there's a Boston Post cane, which I don't know whether you know about, but it is given to the oldest resident of town. And last July, if you know about Elena's Gourmet in the center of town, well, Elena texted me and she said, my mom is turning 100 in July, and she wants to know if she's the oldest person in town. And I said, well, sadly, she's not. But I thought about it, and I got back to her and I said, that's quite a feat. Would she like to have a party? And she said, heck yes. So I went back to the Council on Aging, and everybody on the Council on Aging wanted to have a party for Elena. So we started the Century Club. And in August, we had Kay Previn up here with her family and guests, and we started the Century Club. And our second member today is Fred Cuddy. Wow. So we are so pleased to be able to honor Fred today. And thank you, members of his family and his friends and his chorus and his veterans people. And I asked Rick, which I will let you know about later, to tell us a little bit more about his life, and you'll hear about that later. But first, we have Beth Walsh here representing Senator Cronin, and she has an award from Massachusetts. Beth Walsh.
Thank you very much. Senator Cronin could not be here today, but he sent me, and I have to tell you that I'm always glad when Senator Cronin can't make it, because these events are really special for me. When Debbie told me, when she first called me about the Century Club, I was just telling somebody else that I thought there are that many people living in Lunenburg who are 100 or more, and they're not the oldest person there. I'm moving to Lunenburg because there must be something in the water. So I have a citation to present to Fred, and I'm going to read this to you, Fred, and then I'm going to come and give it to you. It's an official citation. It says, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Frederick Lorenzo Cuddy in recognition of the happy occasion of your 100th birthday. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. It's signed by the President of the Senate, Karen Spilka, and it's offered by John J. Cronin on December 8th, 2023.
Get it, Gene?
You want to turn this around and so we can...
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
Am I in the way?
No, not me. I don't have a camera. Not my way.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm Rick and his son.
Oh, really nice. So the great thing about the Century Club is that you don't have to live in Lunenburg anymore. It's just that you spent a long time in Lunenburg, and so Fred, of course, qualifies for that. And on each of your tables, you'll find a little packet from other states and other people of importance who have written Fred letters. Please take time to look at those because they're pretty special. So Fred's son Rick was kind enough to send me some biographical information. I knew a lot about Fred, but I had no idea how incredible he was. We had the opportunity to spend some time with Rick and Jean and Fred last December. They spent time with us, and I knew he was amazing, but this is just over the top. So I'd like to share a little bit about Fred's life with you, courtesy of Rick. He's spending his actual 100th birthday with us, so thank you for that. He was born December 8, 1923 to Frederick and Mildred Millie Cuddy. He was the firstborn and only son. He was followed by 3 sisters. During his early preschool years, he lived between Leominster and Fitchburg, Mass. His parents settled in Fitchburg in a place called The Patch. Bet you all know where that is. Prior to his entering first grade at St. Bernard's Elementary School, where he would meet his future wife and the mother of his children. More on that later. At age 14, Fred's father passed away and his mother was left as a single mom of 3 children. Fred left school to begin work to bring in another income. He did whatever odd jobs he could do at that age, always dutifully and lovingly bringing his entire paycheck home to Mom. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor Day. The next day, Fred turned 18 and stood in a mile-long line on Main Street, Fitchburg, to enter the recruiter station to join the Navy and fight for his country. He departed Fitchburg and traveled to Casco Bay, Maine. Standing on the dock, he looked up and saw his new home, the USS North Carolina. It was 728 feet 9 inches long and had a beam of 108 feet 4 inches and a draft of 32 feet 11.5 inches. He moved up through the ranks to become a boatswain's mate, 2nd class. During a cruise in the South Pacific on September 15, 1942, the boat was torpedoed by the Japanese submarine I-19, sinking the ship 20 feet below the waterline on her port side and tearing a 32 by 18-foot hole in the plating. 5 men were killed in the attack. After limping the ship back to Pearl Harbor, he was stationed at San Francisco running 3 tugboats. December 1944, Christmas. Fred traveled by train from San Francisco to Massachusetts to propose to his future bride, the young girl he knew from first grade, Cecilia. Legend has it, I love this story, thank you, Rick. Legend has it that he showed up at Cecilia's house the first night after a leisurely walk along Main Street, stopping at Major's Cafe, The Bon-Ton, Rollstone Cafe, and a few others. It's said that Cecilia took one look at him and told him to come back when he was sober and closed the door on him. The legend continues that he did in fact show up the second night semi-sober and asked to take her out for the evening, to which she said again, "Come back when you are sober." On the 3rd night, he showed up completely sober, and she agreed to go out on a date with him. The 4th night, he showed up again, completely sober. On the 5th night, he took her out on a date, and he proposed to her, and she said yes. The next day, he purchased her ring. A day or so later, he was back on the train for a week-long journey back to San Francisco. He would return to Massachusetts in July of 1945, just a few days before their wedding. They were married on July 14, 1945. On July 16th, they were both aboard that train headed back to California. He continued working as a captain of the tugs. His duties were to take control of the Navy ships and bring them to port. On September 2nd, 1945, VJ Day was declared. Beginning September 28, 1945, Fred and his crews worked round the clock to bring Admiral Halsey's fleet safely home. Shortly after this, he resigned from the Navy and he and Cecilia headed back to Massachusetts. 1946, Fred and Cecilia have their first child. 1947, they have a second child. 1952, they have a third child. And 1956, they have a fourth child.
Sister Ann.
During these years, Fred worked at various jobs, always busy. He worked in the foundry, in the wire mill, paper mills, building houses, laying roads, all manner of jobs. Always there and always supporting his family in whatever they needed. In 1955, here's where it gets really good for us Lunenburg folks. They moved to Lunenburg. In addition to his full-time work, Fred and Cecilia were founding members of the Lunenburg High School Booster Club. He was also a volunteer fireman and member of the fledgling rescue squad. He was a bus driver, and during the school years, he served as a volunteer for the church, St. Boniface, taking care of the maintenance and grounds. Whatever needed to be done, Fred did it. Over the many years, Fred served alongside his wife as co-coordinators of the Father Ralph Diorio Healing Ministry and as an active member for the Full Gospel Businessmen's Association. Life slowed a little bit as the children grew and were married. He beamed with pride as his second and third born sons raised the hand and took an oath to defend their country, just as he had done all those years ago. For all of those of you who have had the honor of knowing him for any length of time, know that you are blessed. For those of you who know him as Dad, Granddad, Great-Granddad, or now Triple G, understand that you come from a legacy of faith, love, and service. Dad first loved his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Secondly was his lifelong dedication to the woman he chose to be his bride when he was just a young grade school boy and their family. And lastly, he served his country, his family, his friends, his church, and his community with a heart full of love and gratitude for all that he received in this life. Fred is a man that has dined at some of the finest establishments in Boston with cardinals and bishops and leaders of the industry. He also found joy in sharing a donut and coffee with a homeless man in Duncan. Sitting across from him, listening to his story, offering some fatherly advice, he says he wondered if he was heard by that young man. Did he make a difference? Some months later, that man would see him on Main Street, Fitchburg, and stop and ask him if he remembered him. Dad shook his head. No, I don't. This young, clean-shaven, neatly dressed man relayed the story of the shared donut. He told Dad that he heard his words, but mostly his encouragement to get up and do better. He remembers Dad not turning away from him because of the way he looked, but rather Dad's choice to see him for who he could be and embracing him as a friend. So, this is Dad's life motto. There are no strangers, just friends I haven't met yet. To all of you, I would tell you to live a life that is abundant and full and sustaining and blessed and successful. Be like Fred. And thank you, Rick, for that. And now I would like to introduce Lou Franco. He's a member of our Lunenburg Select Board, and he has something to present to Fred.
Thank you very much. That was extraordinary listening to your background. I just want to give a little bit about the context as to why I am here. I'm on the select board, as Debbie said, and I'm also the liaison to the Council on Aging. And I've said it frequently, and I mean it. It is my favorite aspect of the job of being a select board member is working with the Council on Aging and with seniors in general. And every time I leave the Council on Aging meetings, I'm upbeat, and that's when I'm on a peak in this job. So anyway, Fred, we haven't met yet, but as it was just stated, I understand that there are no strangers, only friends we haven't met yet. So I am honored to be here. I just want to say I'm a student of history, and this is why this is going somewhere, okay? I'm an intense student of history. I have been since I was a child. And I always valued, even from the time I was a small kid, other kids, and even now, even in my time, other kids would be bored listening to older people talk about old times. Not me. I always valued older people as living history. And when I was a kid, I would pepper my grandmother with questions. She was born in 1913. And I just wanted to know everything about the Great Depression, World War II, what was the New Deal like? What was the Kennedy assassination like? What were the 60s like? I'm doing this as a 7 and 8-year-old kid. I was the only 10-year-old kid who could literally exhaust an older person's desire to talk about their past. It would wear out before I would. And so I just can't imagine the stories you could tell, and we've only got a small taste of the life you have lived, and that's why it's a particular honor to be here to say happy birthday to you and to present to you this letter from the Lunenburg Select Board. It says, "Dear Fred, on behalf of the town of Lunenburg, we wish you a very happy 100th birthday. Congratulations on achieving this milestone. Your remarkable life is an inspiration to all, and we are appreciative of your time in Lunenburg, raising children, and as a founding member of the High School Booster Club, volunteer firefighter, bus driver, and integral member of your church fellowship. Your long and varied achievements in the military and the community make us proud to call you one of Lunenburg's own. We are pleased that you have chosen to share your special day with us. As you have exemplified throughout your life, there are no strangers, just friends I haven't met yet. May your centennial year bring you much happiness and good health. With respect and highest regards, the Lunenburg Select Board."
Thank you.
So next up, we have Ralph J.R. Higgins, who's a close friend and fellow chorus member of the International Veterans Chorus, who has a few words he'd like to say to Fred. So J.R., please join us at the podium. This is J.R.
Okay, everybody can go to sleep now. Now I'm going to make a very small speech. It's dealing with the military aspect of his life. You know Fred, yes. Okay, Fred is a proud U.S. World War II Navy veteran. He is the last original crewman and plank owner of the battleship USS North Carolina, BB-55. A plank owner is an individual who is a crew member present at the ship's first commissioning. That means that the ship officially became alive. All right. He's also a shellback, and living proof that a shellback can live a long time, right?
What's the shellback?
Okay, hang on. For you pollywogs, flyboys, jarheads, and ground pounders, a shellback is a sailor who has crossed the equator aboard a warship. To be a shellback, you must participate in an initiation ceremony involving the judgment of King Neptune, the god of the seas. Even President Roosevelt in 1936 went through this ceremony. It is a hard-won fraternity. Being a shellback is a point of pride and honor among sailors. Fred is one. Some of the boatswain's mate second-class Fred Cuddy's awards and decorations include the President Unit Citation, Navy Combat Action Ribbon, Navy Good Conduct Medal, American Defense Service Medal, American Campaign Medal, Atlantic Pacific Campaign Medal with 3 silver service stars. I'll explain service stars later. Service stars are actually, they used to call them battle stars, okay, because he's been involved with a lot of action. All right, Navy Occupation Service Medal with Asia class, Philippine President Unit Citation Ribbon, Philippine Defense Medal with Bronze Service Star, Philippine Liberation Medal with Bronze Silver Star, Philippine Independence Medal, and the Navy Service Stripe. Those are 4-year stripes. All Navy personnel, either enlisted or officers, when they complete a 4-year period, they get a service stripe. When you reach, I think it's 12 years, you go from red to gold.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't hang around. Okay. All right. Fred missed his calling as a local historian. His knowledge of the towns and cities of Central Mass is very remarkable. He casually talked to the locals about the buildings and businesses and lands that existed. Some people actually went to their historical records, discovering what was overlooked. When what he said was accurate and more detailed than their books. His practical knowledge is very educational. By the way, this guy at 100 years old is sharp. He is sharp. Fred and I often go on in search of a good cup of coffee at diners, restaurants, donut shops in central Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. Fred learned to drink hot black coffee, Navy coffee, when in the tropics, and taught me how to enjoy black coffee. When we got together, which is quite often until now, the search for a good cup of coffee goes on. A good blueberry muffin with was a bonus and a measure of the quality of the stuff. And I think that's pretty much what we do.
That's about it.
Yeah, we really do in search of things. Now, on the serious side, we visit our past soldiers, sailors, Navy.
Yes.
We honor them. We are quiet. We do not speak because it's honor. Again, Fred.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we have the honor of, the medals are here today.
They're in the
They're
piano.
displayed over there on the piano if you want to take a look at them at the end of the program. That'd be great.
Bring it up.
Also, Fred, we have some things for you from the Lunenburg Council on Aging. We have a blanket that was made by Lunenburg resident Patty Alstead. In case you ever get cold, we have that blanket.
Beautiful.
She is the partner of another Lunenburg Select Board member, Renee Emke. We have a little certificate for you. And did you know they make 100-year birthday cards? They do. And we have one for you. You are very welcome.
Oh, my God.
So,
Is anybody else speaking?
I don't know if anybody else wants to speak. Please feel free to come up and speak. I know Fred wanted to just say thank you to everybody for coming, but we'll wait for that. I'll bring the mic over to him.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna step out of my persona for a little while, because I'm actually an introvert. I don't like to speak. But Fred and I go back a long ways.
Yeah.
We knew each other working at a paper mill, and we've known him for many, many years, and I've always thought of him as being an upright guy. And I'm kind of following in his footsteps. I'm 91.
Just a kid.
And I got the distinction of filling his shoes with the Veterans Chorus.
There you go.
I'm the oldest veteran there. I'm a Korean veteran.
There you go.
And I just want to read something that will mean something to Fred. I don't have my glasses, but the cheetahs?
Cheetahs.
The cheetahs, okay, just like mine.
Right, here's his glasses.
Okay. This is
I guess he's all.
something that was written by a man named Michael Josephson in 2003. Now, we all know that we're on borrowed time, and we don't leave this world any different than when we came into it, naked and afraid. That's the way we come in, that's where we leave. Okay. Ready or not, someday it will come to an end. All the things you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, your fame, temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what you owned or what you were owed. Your grudges, resentments, frustrations, jealousies will finally disappear. So too your hopes, ambitions, plans, to-do lists will expire. The wins and losses that once seemed so important will fade away. It won't matter where you came from or what side of the tracks you lived on at the end. It won't matter whether you were beautiful or brilliant. Even your gender and skin color will be irrelevant. So what will matter? How will the value of your days be measured? What will matter is not what you bought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is not what you learned, but what you taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, or sacrifice that enriched, empowered, or encouraged others to emulate your example. What will matter is not your competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many will feel a lasting loss when you are gone. What will matter doesn't happen by accident. It's not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. Choose to live a life that matters. And I think, like I say, I'm following his footsteps. I hope. Thank you. Yeah.
Here's your glass.
I mean every bit of it.
I'll take mine back.
Take back their glass.
I know you do. I've got.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Can I see you?
I'm recording this, friends. Make sure you say your name for me.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Fran Cooley, and I'm the director of the International Veterans Course. And I've had the honor of working with Fred as our oldest member. And now Bob is our current oldest member. And the Veterans Course, just no matter how bad I'm feeling or tired I am, I get there, and the next thing I know, I'm just cracking up. These guys are just hilarious. And they're so great, and they're so dedicated. They call me, I can't make it, or I'll be there next week, but I've got this going on. And I've never had a chorus that was so close-knit and really just kept me abreast of everything going on in their lives. And if they had a problem, they called me. And, you know, our board is great. We've got 3 members of our board right here, and they'll pick people up and start friendships just like JR and Fred, by going to rehearsal every week and stopping off for coffee at the end. And I even had the pleasure of going to have coffee with you, Fred. And I remember that you don't like decaf, you like black, strong coffee. So I found some French roast, Wide Awake Coffee Company. Dark and rich, just for you.
Thank you.
I also just have a couple of mementos, nothing spectacular, but just to keep your music skills sharp, I have a music lesson pencil, and it has a lot of fun things on it. Never be flat, always be natural. And sometimes be sharp. And so anyway, that's fun for you. We also have some minute motivators from the military, a lot of really good stories, quotes, just things to, you know, to enlighten you and motivate you. Patriotism, just an example. I was summoned by my country, whose voice I can never hear, but with veneration and love. And that was from President George Washington. So a lot of good quotes in this book for you. And a nice bookmark so you can remember Veterans Course with that on the back. And I did want to just pass a message on to you from Barbara Foster. I invited her to our party. Does everybody know Barbara Foster? Barbara and you, she does the show on FATV. She once told me, she said, why did I pick a night when Wheel of Fortune is on? And then she said, oh, because my show was on before Wheel of Fortune. So anyway, she said, when she grows up, Fred, she wants to be just like you.
There you go.
So that's a message from Barbara. And so I did want to just say one more thing before I end, and that was that we used to have a great time. We lost one of our World War II veterans, Cookie. He was right before his 97th birthday last year. And when Fred was still active, Cookie was, I want to say Fred was 95 and Cookie was 93. And Cookie would come up, walk over to Fred and say, how you doing, old man? And Cookie would answer with, pretty good, kid, how you doing? And I just thought, where else can this conversation happen? So just hilarious, and the guys just were there for each other. But I thought I would just close with a little tune that my guys can help me with. And you'll probably recognize this tune, Fred. Through our last night on shore, drink to the fall, until we meet again, is wishing you a happy patrol. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome.
Awesome, awesome.
Would anybody else like to?
Yes, my cousin, Gary over here.
Before I forget, because I forget all the time, I'm not like Fred. Don't go away after we have cake at the end, because we want to get some chorus pictures and some family pictures, so don't leave. Okay, but we're not done yet.
If you don't mind.
I don't.
Hi, I'm Wally Richards. Well, you call him Fred, but I call him Uncle Buster.
That's right.
Because, as I was telling Debbie earlier, I mean, I know the gentleman said he's 92 and he's known Fred for years. I've known Fred since I was probably that big. And the Richards and Cuddys were basically one family growing up.
One family.
Uncle Buster and Aunt Cece, which is what we called her, they were like our second parents. And I know my brother Don passed away. He would love to be here because when he got in trouble, he would be going on Sissy and Uncle Buster to find out, like when he cracked up their car and wanted to find out, how you going to smooth this over for me? But it's just being here and listening to people, I didn't prepare anything, obviously, but it just brought back great memories of a long, long time ago. And it was funny, we grew up in Fitchburg, and my mother and father say, well, we're going to Lunenburg. Well, Jesus, you think it was like an hour away. Lunenburg? We thought we were out in the wilderness. It took me years later to find out it was only 10 minutes from where we lived. But when you came over that line, wow. And one of my first memories was the families would get together and he'd have all kinds of food, and Uncle Buster would put the coffee on at 9 o'clock and he would drink it till about 9 that night if there was anything left in the bottom. When we grew up, I used to tell him, Uncle Buster, I said, you know, at weddings, just before you knew the wedding party was over, because when they went to grab the coffee pot, he would run over and go, I'll have one to sit out. And I told him one time, you know, not that I want this to happen, but when you pass away, your eyes aren't going to close for like 2 weeks.
But the pacemaker will be here for another 10 years.
Oh yeah. But one of the memories, childhood memories, was this time of the year in the winter. We got the idea. We were going toboggan at some hill over here in Lunenburg. You know, I thought I was on the top of Mount Everest because I was only like this big. And they had, it was probably a 10-foot toboggan, but it looked like a 30-foot one to me. And I was the youngest kid, and they put me in the front. And there was like 40 people in this thing behind me. And when we first started, I was like, hey, having fun, right? Now all of a sudden, we're picking up speed, doing about 40 miles an hour. And somebody leans over, we wiped out, and there was a crust of ice on top of the snow, and I was trying to save myself before everybody landed on me. I put my hand down through it, and you know, after the casualties started getting on top of me, I got up and I noticed there was a big red streak coming down. My hand was bleeding, and so the whole skin had come back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So Uncle Buster, being the medic he was, he grabbed my hand, shoved it in the snow, and kind of told me, man up. And it was only 10 minutes to get back to the house, and I was still bleeding. You know, I got to say, he gave me some kind of something he had in his pocket. I don't know, I didn't ask where it came from. Well, he got there, he grabs my hand, puts it underneath the water, and I'll always remember that feeling as I screamed and they bandaged up. But the main thing is the main thing over the years that, you know, they were unbelievable people to us. I mean, Aunt Cece, I still visit her. Okay, and I tell all my friends about Uncle Buster over the years, and they're all like, Uncle Buster, Uncle Buster's moving. I mean, they never met him. Yep. Those stories. So I told somebody the other day, Uncle Buster's turning 100 years old. Oh my God, really? I said, yeah, I think he just gave up being a crossing guard like 2 months ago. Yeah. But I just wanted to say, I mean, so many memories have come through my mind. And I saw Debbie, I said, yeah, I said, and what happened was nobody knows Uncle Buster other than us. And one year, years back, he said, I didn't really like being called Buster. I says, well...
You know why?
No, he didn't tell me.
What's the dog's name, Dad?
Buster.
Oh. Was the dog named after you, or you after the dog?
I never found out who's the oldest.
But I told him, I said, not to be disrespectful, but you're always going to be Uncle Buster to me. And I love you.
Thank you, Wally.
Okay? Take care.
These are awesome memories. Does anybody else have memories to share? Fred, did you want to say anything?
I'd like to say one word.
Oh, all right.
I hope I can keep it together.
Thank you.
It's a day I've been working for a long time. Dad and I have so many conversations on this. Can't wait, Dad, can't wait, can't wait. Oh my God. And it's here. It's actually here. I have a sad moment to reflect on. my grandmother, his mother, was 93. And in those days, Willard Scott used to do the jelly jar for Smucker on there, and they'd have these people's pictures and stuff like that. And I said, hey, Graham, you know, a couple more years, I'm going to take you down to New York. You're going to be right there in Rockefeller Plaza, and you're going to be holding up a jelly jar sign. You're going to be live on TV. Everybody's going to see you. Well, then that went on for years and years and years. Then all of a sudden she got a pneumonia, and like she was gone in the weekend. She was 94. But Dad, I've taken good care of, and I wanted this day forever. And I'm so proud to be his son. Despite to be half the man that he is. Love you, Dad.
Thank you, buddy.
I know you wanted to say thank you.
I just want to say thank you to everyone here today. There's memories, the good memories, the bad memories. But there's so many good, we don't look for the bad. They're gone. They're gone and dead. They're buried. So thank you very, very much.
We are going to serve you some birthday cake, but before that, how about we have a chorus here? Yeah. Would you like to lead us in Happy Birthday? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Fred. Happy birthday to you. Okay, please stay around for some chorus pictures, some family pictures. Go over and check out the medals. Thank you all so much for coming for this incredible program.
We had a gift that was given to a veteran, and it happened to be Freddie. A pair of shoes from a veteran. I was so glad that you won that.
Oh, last night?
Yeah, last night. He just happened to have a 8.5 shoe.
It's the right size.
It was the right size, and that's going to be a comfortable shoe. I'm glad you got it.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bob.
that was at our party.
Amazing gathering, and more than just we've been friends for a long time. We lost contact for a number of years, but all of a sudden you're back there and you're top shelf.
Thank you. You too.